Sarge Mega. How he plays highway. Emil 51. I would expect it to play similarly to Brandwagen or Emil 2 in the Swedish heavy tech tree. Now, looking at statistics of this tank, stock penetration is quite low at 217 millimeters. Looks like Mega's running mostly premium loadout or all premium loadout with 242 millimeters of penetration. Since this tank is not preferential, it plays up to tier 10. I think that's a viable option, probably to run mostly premium or fully premium rounds, because you can't choose. You don't choose where you're gonna end up. Are you gonna end up in tier 8 game, tier 9 game, tier 10 game? Currently, in this battle, he's in a tier 9 battle, so it's not worst case scenario. I would assume if this tank gets thrown into tier 10, it's gonna have a hell of a time penetrating anything, because even with 242 millimeters of penetration, it's gonna be struggling. Huge. You would probably need to shoot lower plates of tanks or sides of tanks. But at tier 8 and tier 9, it's a pretty formidable tank. Now, map highway. How imbalanced this map is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Mega's doing a good job over here because he didn't go into the field early. Don't go into the field early. Try to sit the way he does here and just snipe. If you have spotters or scouts that go into the field, you will have shots of damage. Now, one thing I noticed, he had to come a little bit closer because it looked like opposition tanks weren't showing in his render range, so he didn't see them at all. Now, look at his positioning. He uses bushes to make sure he stays concealed. This tank has horrible concealment. Every little piece of concealment will help in this situation. Use bushes, use trees, knock him down. Now, he's gonna hang around here until his mutts is still alive. And as a right play, you have to support your scouts as much as you can. See here, he doesn't see that medium tank in the corner. His render range is just not good in this tank. The problem with this tank too is camo on it is horrible. So the closer you get, it is quite possible that you're gonna get spotted. But this is the imbalance of this map. Most of the tanks, or friendly tanks, stay on 8, 9, and 0 line most of the time, because if you get in the field early in the game, you will not survive. Just the way this map is structured, it just makes no sense. I wish Wargaming made few changes to this map, created a bit of more obstruction, or more of a ridgeline for east side spawn, and that would balance the map a little bit. And as you notice here, he gets spotted. Now he's in trouble. Those tier 9s have big guns. They can hurt him. Luckily, he gets unspotted, and now he's gonna have to get the hell out. Once your spotters die, you get the hell out. Now, what comes next is 9-line defense. And that defense is key too. Just pay attention to what he's gonna do. Now, that medium tank at A6 and TD at B7, they gotta run away from there because they'll die. You have no protection on top of that ridgeline. You will die if you stay there. They should have been dropping a long time ago. And now what Mega's gonna do, he's gonna come to the corner of the map here, because this position will give him crossfire into all of the reds spilling on their side of the map. And you'll see what happens here. See, this Panzerjäger is just gonna die. There's no way he can run anywhere. He's gonna get overcrowded, and he's gonna die. Throwing pretty good tank away, to be honest. Panzerjäger is another one of those high camo TDs that is currently totally meta. If you have it, play it. Play the head out of it. Now, take a look at this. So remember, Emil tanks or Swedish heavies like Brandwagen and Emil 2, Emil 1, so on and so forth, they have fantastic gun depression. So that's exactly what he's doing. He's utilizing his struck turret, and he's gonna try to put some shells into his counterpart, Astronex, right there, because Astronex is kind of similar to Emil 2 in the fact that it has 360 alpha, 5-shell autoloader, so it has more of a damage potential. Astronex has much better camo than this tank. But see what his friendlies do here in this situation. Now they're losing the game, but this is a trap. This is a trap. Especially for the opposing team pushing from the west side onto the east side of the map. Over that ridgeline, it's a trap. Because if someone is in the position where Mega is right here, this is where these tanks are going to be exposed huge. And he'll be able to put shell after shell after shell into these guys approaching area D9. He's just hammering on this Astromex. Unfortunately, last shell does not go in. It goes into his turret. Astromex turret is strong enough to bounce his shell, even his premium shell. And that's what I was saying about tier 10s. This tank is going to struggle immensely. The reload seems like it's about 24 seconds for 360 alpha. Not the greatest, but it's not too bad. It's kind of average, I would say. But he makes it work in this game. Astromex right in the middle there. And he'll be just unleashing on this guy. 2 shells go in. Can he put a third one into this T-32A Proto? Yes, he does. Yeah, he's dropping behind ridgeline. He's just feasting here. And I'm seeing this a lot more often nowadays. If players know how to defend highway on this side of the map, they don't have to move anywhere. Because the opposition team is just gonna spill onto the field under that ridgeline. And they're just gonna get demolished. This defense is key. Crossfire at A9, supporting tanks at D9. Remember that. Now he's got shots into this tier 9 check heavy. Super formidable tank at this tier. He actually bends him. I don't know if it's through the turret or if he hits his hull. Probably his hull, I would say. Mega's trying to check, I guess. I'm not sure. But again, at tier 10, this tank will be bent through the turret. It's similar armor profile to Emil 1. At tier 10, Emil 1 gets shredded through the turret. Anyway, he's almost reloaded. And he's gonna try to finish off this check heavy. Can he do that? The aim touch is pretty horrible as well. Must be because of his crew. His crew is probably not the most skilled at the moment. And all of a sudden, they brought this game back. It was 7v10 at one point. They were losing the game pretty bad. Looked like the opposition team was just spilling here, but they managed to hold on. And now the game is slightly in their advantage. They're winning 4-3. So what he's gonna do next is quite good as well. And that's something I need to point out. The first thing that comes in your mind right now is they want this side and they want to counter push. That would be a mistake. If you counter push, you go into an open field. If you look at the team list, there is still an Iron Rain on the opposing team. Iron Rain is gonna spot any of these guys. If it's stationary, anytime, it is quite likely that they could lose this game still. Because of Iron Rain himself. There's still M46 Tier 9 American medium tank who's got very good view range as well. So what Mega is doing is actually fantastic. He's using his brain here. He's not going straight over the ridgeline. He decides to take a long way all the way around. This tank has good enough mobility to make this play. He's telling his team that he's gonna go all the way to A-line, cross down the A-line, and engage the opposition from the other side of the map. At the same time, he also tells his team to defend the base. Quite key communication. Even if you don't have a mic, communicate within the game. If you can use commands on your controller just to tell your teammates what you're doing, keep doing that. Keep communicating with your teammates, no matter how it goes, no matter whether they listen or not. Some of them will be listening. Obviously, his standard B was, and that's key. So, he's gonna come down here, and at this point, because there's only 3 tanks on the opposing team, you would assume that they would all be on the other side of the map, on the north side of the map. Even if Iron Rain is here, he might have enough speed downhill to get himself down into that ravine on the bottom, or riverbed, whatever you want to call that, so that he doesn't get shafted and taken out of the game. Now he spots this M46. Wow, kind of a lucky shot over there because it wasn't fully aimed, and this gun seems like it's aiming quite horribly. So it was quite likely that he would miss that shot, but he managed to pen it. And now he's gonna try to approach M46 from this side. That shell goes in, and he takes him out of the game. Bringing the game to 4v1, hoping he can catch Iron Rain, but I'm not sure what Iron Rain is doing on the other side of the map right there. He should be sitting in a field. That would be the safest position for him at the moment. I think his friendlies are gonna get to that kill before he does. And that's exactly what happens. What a fantastic game in this tank. Let's take a look at the end place and see how he did here. So he managed to finish the game with 4.6, almost 4.7k damage, 1738 base XP, finish on top of the team in a tier 9 matchup. He had quite a bit of help from his standard B, quite a good game by standard B as well, defending that ridgeline. He also had about 600 assisted damage, which brings the total to over 5k combined. He finished with Mastery Ace Tanker for this game. Very solid strategic thinking, good repositioning, way to hold the line and support your team. Finishes on top of the team. Let's look at the performance report now. Fired 21 shells, 14 penetrations, and 5 critical hits.